Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.SheilaMac.com today.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio, Mondays at 1 and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila. Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio, Mondays at 1 and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Today, we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your life on your terms. Today, we have special guest Miriam Magalhaes, and she is a global master coach and the founder and director of Universal Studies Language and Leadership Coaching for Success. She is also the founder of Universal Life Channel, which is webinars, courses, and training online, and Universal Teachings. Miriam is certified as a leadership coach by Stephen Covey, one of the most renowned coaches in the United States, and the author of the best-selling book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. She has participated in dozens of trainings, business trips, and meetings with the acclaimed life and business strategist, Anthony Robbins. Miriam became a platinum partner of Tony Robbins with a platinum partnership in 2014, and she also became a senior leader with Robbins Research International in 2016. Now she's discovered in India the training of the renowned world institutions such as O&O, Oneness, and One World Academy, and today she is one of the 19 people in the world certified as a One World Academy transformer, trained by the founders Krishnaji and Preetaji. Being a transformer enables her to conduct trainings based on the institution's teachings. She is a member of the One Consciousness Fellowship, helping humanity shift from I consciousness to one consciousness, and receives direct training from the leaders and founders of O&O. All right, welcome, Miriam.
Welcome, everybody. Namaste. Thank you so much for having us here today. I'm thrilled. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes,
So
and
thank you so much.
thank you for being on the show. And we also have another special guest today, and her name is Sasa. She is a young Brazilian singer who has been singing since she was 10 years old. She has performed in several musicals, in theater, and performs at private events with covers in the style of R&B and pop. She has been performing on stage with the global master coach Miriam Magalhaes for the past 2 years, just like Pitbull does with Tony Robbins. All right, so welcome, Sasa.
She's
Yes, thank you very much.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. Hello, everybody. Hello, Sheila. Hello. I'm really, really happy.
Yes, so wonderful to have you both here. And Miriam and I go back a ways. We met in Fiji, so at one of Anthony Robbins' events in the Platinum program. So we have a lot in common.
6 years ago, right?
Yes, and also we've both been to India, and I also have done some of the trainings with the One World Academy, which is one of my favorite spiritual journeys. So welcome to the show. I'd love to hear. One of the things that we talk about and the show is based on is my new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And
by the way, I started reading it yesterday and I couldn't put it down.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. And so one of the things is this year we have had a global situations hit with the pandemic and so many changes, and some of them, we have to find the gift in them, yet it has been difficult. And so one of the things I'd like to hear about is maybe a story for the audience about how you have gone through maybe a tough situation in your business or personal life and how you got back on track.
Sure, my pleasure to share. Well, my childhood was pretty normal. But I think that the biggest challenge, the first big challenge I had to face in my life was when my father was murdered and I was just 21. And right after that, my oldest sister committed suicide and I ended up losing my very first baby. That was just the beginning of my journey. So what I've been learning is that problems really are part of our lives, right? But the suffering is an option. Is it easy? It's not easy, but is it simple? Yes, it is. So when my father was murdered, his name was Socrates and he was a philosopher. And I was kind of spoiled because he was a very wise man. And he taught me lots of things. And one of the things he taught me was to focus on the good. Yes. Because we all know that there is also the bad, but there is the good. So he always said, focus on what's good. Then you must find something good in whatever situation you have to face. So when I was told that he had passed away, I turned to my older brother. He is 11 years older, so he was already a physician at that time. And I just asked him, what can be good about this? Because when it's happening, we can't see anything. We become blind. We can't see the good in something bad. Right. So what's good about this? And he turned to me and he said, well, Mimi, he used to call me Mimi. He is not here. And this is good because if he had survived, he would be now vegetating. So when he said that, my heart was filled with gratitude, believe it or not. Right. Because he was such a happy man. He had so much energy. It's more than being happy. He was a joyful being because I say that joy is different from happy. or happiness. Happiness depends on something external. For you to be happy, something has to happen. But for my father, he was a joyful being. You know, it's a causeless joy, happy for no reason, right? So he was such a special person. It was not because he was my dad. So the first thing I thought about what's good about this was that I had, and I still have, I feel him in my heart, a wonderful dad. And how lucky I was to have such a wise man as my parent, as my father, right? And then I was grateful because wherever he is now, he is better than being stuck in a body without being able to live. By the way, that's how most people live. They don't live, they simply exist. They have lost that joy.
Right.
They people, I don't know what's going on now. I know there's a virus, and I know, but it's just one more challenge for us to evolve. We are here for us to learn, right? So when my heart could feel that gratitude for the freedom that was given to my dad, I felt free to go on and move on with my life, with example of a happy and joyful person. So I decided that I was gonna be a joyful person as well. So what I have learned from that is that the reality that we create depends a lot on the decisions that we make. And our decisions are made by our thoughts, and our thoughts create our emotions, our behavior, and then our choices. And when we make wise decisions, the right choices, we take the right action.
So it's like when Tony says, in the moment of decision, our destiny is formed. Yes. And that's right. That's what it is.
Destiny is shaped.
And this is the thing about that is this year we have faced a lot of loss, and it brings you back to what matters most. You realize some of the things weren't so important. Relationships, people are important, communities important, living, doing the right actions in your life. These things are important, and all that other stuff is fun, extra stuff. But I think that has brought us to that level of understanding and enjoying, having gratitude for even the little things.
Yes, absolutely. But what is very important now, Sheila, is to pause, because we had been living in such a hectic world that we've forgotten who we are, that we are human beings, not human doings. And in your first chapter, you talk about this being, right? Human beings. And we need to learn to observe and pay close attention to our internal world. So you see, when you do that, you become free, because you can see your inner truth. So you won't end up killing yourself or doing something like my sister. One of the hardest things that I had to do was to tell my mom that our role model, she was living in France. She was a criminologist. She was 12 years older than I am. What the hardest thing, the saddest thing I had to do was to tell my mom to look into her eyes, because when you look into a person's eyes, you are looking into her consciousness, her soul, and tell her that my sister, her beautiful daughter, who knew how to speak 8 languages, was working for the French government, committed suicide and was no longer with us. So you have the power to manifest whatever you want to manifest in your life. So we must take responsibility, stop blaming ourselves and blaming others for whatever is happening in the external world. The only thing we can control is our, or not even control, that we can become aware of is our internal world. So it's important to pause, to observe your inner truth, your emotions, and the thinking behind each and every emotion. And to notice if our thinking is dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, or if we are in the now, because the now, the present moment, is all we have. That old saying that says, the past is history, the future is a mystery, and the present is a gift. That's why it's called present. So to be present is to give whatever or whomever is in front of you your undivided attention.
Right.
And observe everything, every single emotion. And most importantly, not to become afraid of seeing the truth. What is the truth? I'm suffering because I am obsessed with control, or I'm suffering because I feel less, so I am into comparison. I'm suffering because, to see what we don't want to see. Because when we pretend that that is not within us, we end up storing garbage within us, in our internal world. And what happens when you sweep the floor and you put all the garbage under the carpet? Sooner or later, it's going to stink, right? So sooner or later, you're going to face health problems, financial problems. So it's important to pause. We need this revolution in consciousness. And we must make a shift from the me, my name, my fame, my company, my family, and understand that I am you, you are me, and we are one consciousness. And we are much more than our bodies. We are much more than our minds. The mind is just a magnetic field, We are not our minds. We are not our emotions. We can observe them. Oh, that's my emotion. Oh, I'm worried here. Oh, I'm anxious there. But you are not your emotions. You are pure awareness.
Mm-hmm. And this year, a lot of people say, oh, the pandemic, and they call it the universal pause, where we're all taking pause globally. And we all had to go back to our rooms at one point. Depending on where you live, things got shut down for a little while. Even the events that we would go to live, they still haven't happened again live, or that many. And so that's the part where it's even the world, the universe is telling us, hey, slow down, wait a minute, take that pause and reset, reinvent, and decide what really matters to go forward. So you're focused on those things that do matter most, and learning how to let the world even pause. Now we have, fish in the ocean and things they haven't seen in a long time, because our world didn't have a break, didn't have a pause. And we need that. Even if you're exercising, you need to take one day off, or else your muscles break down, even though you're trying to build them. That's why the trainers, they make you have the day of rest, or take time off, and you do leg day, and then you do arm day. You don't do arms every single day. You have to let those muscles rest to build. Exactly. So that's with our spiritual muscles, with our emotional muscles, that's the same situation.
Absolutely. Yes. And when we pause, it doesn't mean that we are not doing something. We are observing something that we usually don't observe. Mm-hmm. We usually pay attention to the external world. We are bombarded by information, right? So by the news, by, you know, people, there are too many things going on. And there are a lot of rushing thoughts. So to pause means to silence your mind, your thoughts, to empty your mind. But before learning how to do that, what my piece of advice here is, whenever you are thinking like, oh, you are dwelling on the past, or worried about the future, or you are experiencing an unpleasant emotion such as depression, sadness, frustration, or anxiety, whenever you notice that you are behaving in a way that you don't want to behave anymore, you're going to take an action that is actually not a good action to take. You are being reactive. Pause. Pause and ask yourself first, is this way of thinking, or this emotion, or this behavior, or this action, is it leading me and others to stress or well-being? To chaos or to a greater order? Is it leading me and others to separation or to connection? Everybody has been talking about having a purpose. I must have a purpose in my life. I must have, you know, we must have a spiritual vision, not only for our lives. We must have a spiritual vision for our relationships, a spiritual vision for our career, a spiritual vision for everything. But before seeking that purpose, we must seek connection. And what is connection? Connection is gratitude, is knowing that nobody achieves anything alone. Connection is compassion, is when you listen to the other without any kind of judgment, and you understand what has triggered that person to act that way, and what needs was that person trying to meet. You are that person. So compassion is the closest thing to love, unconditional love. So what is connection? Connection is all this. It's gratitude, it's compassion, it's sensitivity, it's inclusivity. This is connection. So go for connection and start with yourself. Because at this moment, I see a lot of couples getting divorced, you know, and people blaming everything, the government, you know. Connect with yourself. Connect with your, with the source. Right? This is science, you know. Connect with the source. Connect with the power that lies within you. And then you connect with everyone and everything without judging, without interpreting. But for that to happen, you must learn to relax, and you do that by breathing. We have forgotten to breathe slowly and deeply. Learn to breathe slowly and slowly and deeply again. We relax, then we release. We get rid of the tension in our bodies, and then we let go. We let go of the ego. We let go of our self-images. We let go of attachment. Attachment to our desires or to the lack of what we want. We are attached. Sometimes we want more abundance, right? Everybody wants more money, especially now if you lost your job or something. Find abundance within you first. If you want more certainty, find that certainty within you. You cannot look for something in the external world when the void is in your internal world. So how do you find confidence? How do you find that certainty? By silencing your inner critic. You silence your inner critic. And by observing your internal world, you realize that you are not being who you are. You are just a product of all the conditioning. Because when we were born, we were free. When we were kids, I wanted to be Wonder Woman. You know, my brother wanted to be Superman. My son, for instance, he wanted to be an actor. But what happens is that parents happen, and they start telling you that, no, you cannot do that. No, you cannot be that. No, you cannot be a singer. No, you cannot be an actor. I didn't do that. That's why he is today.
Yeah.
So people start, your teachers, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, you know, your great-grandparents, they start telling you what you cannot be. Mm-hmm. You start believing in those stories. So we have to let go of those old stories. They are not our stories. And they don't do that because they hate you. They just do that because they're afraid that you're going to suffer.
Right. I think that's the thing that happens a lot. And one of the most important things to bring to your family and yourself is to have that discernment, to be able to put things through a filter. You go to a school, sometimes they teach things that aren't aligned with your home value system. And you have to say, okay, wait a minute. That doesn't feel right. It's not aligned. It's not a judgment on other people or their opinions, but you get to put it through your own personal discernment filter. And that makes all the difference. It's connecting, and that's the going inside and listening and being guided. And so it's sort of like, oh, that doesn't feel right. No, I don't want to go with those people and do, go drink or do whatever it is, because it's not aligned with me and it doesn't feel right. And that's okay. So learning to say no to things that aren't aligned. And I think you did an incredible job with your son, and able to say, hey, you know what? That's nice. Thanks for your opinion. I know what I know how I'm guided. And it's being guided in that field of love and connection, where you're listening to your inner knowing, that you're able to truthfully start ending up where you want to be and enjoying every moment on the step. It's not when I get this or when this happens, get the big film, get the whatever. That's not, it's the journey. It's every day being able to live in that state of happiness and that state of being that's just pure joy every day. And then you're just being your truth and sharing your talents with the world. And you're just having fun.
This is what you've been doing. You're an inspiration to me. And joy in Sanskrit, the word joy is Ananda, the state of Ananda. And the state of Ananda is actually the first step to enlightenment.
Yes. Beautiful.
So, and for people to experience that, Sheila, I think it's time to call Sasa, and maybe she could sing a song that I love, and I hope you will enjoy it too, and everybody else will too. It's called Listen.
Thank you. Let's go. Listen to the song here in my heart, a melody I start, but it can't complete. Listen to the sound from deep within. It's only beginning to find release. Oh, the time has come for my dreams to be heard. They will not be pushed aside and turned into your own. Oh, 'cause you won't listen. Listen. I am alone at a crossroad. I'm not at home in my own home. And I've tried and tried to take what's all mine. You should have known. Oh, and now I'm done believing you. You don't know what I'm feeling. I'm more than what you made of me. I found a voice you gave to me. But now I've gotta find my own. You should have listened. There was someone here inside, someone I thought had died so long ago. Oh, I'm screaming now, and my dreams will be heard. They will not be pushed aside and turned into your own. Oh, 'cause you won't listen. Listen. I am alone at a crossroad. I'm not at home in my own home. And I've tried and tried to say what's on my mind. You should have known. Oh, and now I'm done believing you. You don't know what I'm feeling. I'm more than what you made of me. I found a voice you think you gave to me. But now I've gotta find my own, my
own. Beautiful. So when Sasa is singing,
Sasa, I'm telling you, if I had your voice, they would never be able to stop me. I would be on the rooftops singing. You are incredible. So beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. For instance, every time I see Sasa, I say, please sing. So why? Because music makes you be present. And when you are present, you're not dwelling on the past. You're not worried about the future. You are here and everything is good. Everything is great. And there is no fear in your core. So life is not a destination. Life is a musical thing. I don't know why we have come up with this idea that life is about achieving success. Life is about having this or having that. Mm-hmm. Life is about being. I'm not saying that you cannot achieve, but you can happily achieve. You can achieve by being present to the moment that is unfolding in front of you. And when this happens, then miracles happen because you feel grateful. You have this serene joy and calm courage. You trust. And what is trust? What is faith? Faith is life experience. So whenever I have to face a challenge, I know that sooner or later, that problem is going to be solved. This is calm courage, not bravery. When there is calm courage, serene joy, and gratitude, guess what? You have your purpose and passion. And synchronicities happen. And you achieve whatever you want to achieve. And there is wealth creation. And when you share that wealth creation, and by wealth creation here, it can be sharing knowledge or sharing a smile, or, it doesn't have to be money, but when you create jobs, when you give people opportunities, you are actually creating joy and wealth for other people. And when this happens, there is even further creation of wealth. And you share more and further creation of wealth. And then there is this awakening of consciousness. But nowadays, people are not in the core is different. People are in the fear mode, and fear creates obsession. Obsession creates disharmony and division, and life becomes a battle. You know, people are struggling.
Right.
And they get disconnected and they go to escapes. So I'm going to drink in order to forget it. I'm going to eat in order to forget it. Or I'm going to I'm going to stay home and read in order to forget it. So those are escapes. And that generates more losses, more frustration, more sadness, more depression. And it's a downward spiral. And fear is insane. There is no clarity. We must have clarity in our thoughts. And for that to happen, we must be present. So you guys can just take this into your hearts now and remember, sing a song, be present, have calm courage. Everything is going to be all right.
Yes,
Don't control what you cannot control.
Yes.
Relax, release, let go.
Yes. I always say music is the key to the authentic soul, and it truly is. And then there's the pause, the space between the notes, the pause in our life that we need in order to listen and hear what we really, our guidedness on what we need to do next, especially when we're hit with a tough situation. So that is really the key. I wanted to ask you, you shared with me a little bit earlier before we got on the show about how salsa came into your life. I'd love to hear that story.
Yes, go ahead, Sasa.
So about 2 years ago, I was with my mom, and we went to like an event, and Miriam was going to give a lecture that day. We didn't know her at the time, and we were given like a tasting session of brigadeiros. Brigadeiros are a famous Brazilian candy here. Like everybody eats it. Like it's super good. Everybody loves it. So we were doing that, and it was like lots of flavors, and we were giving that tasting session, and we watched her lecture, and it was amazing. It was mind blowing. She told a story about the golden eagle, and about being who you truly are, and connecting with yourself, and being like
limitless.
Being limitless, yes. And she taught us many things, and it was amazing. I was super inspired at the time. And they told us that they were going to have a drawing. And at that drawing, I won a session with her. And it was super cool. I was super excited. I went there. We had a 2-hour session. And she asked me, what is the thing that makes you happy? And I was like, singing. Singing makes me happy. And wow, let's put on a song then. Let's sing. And she put on a Beyonce song, and I love it very much. And of course, I knew how to sing it, and I sang it, and she was mesmerized by how I sang it, and she was, okay, you're really good. And at the time, as you said, I did like lots of musicals back at my school and everything. So I saw some of the older students that were there with me. They tried to like go on singing careers and things like that, and they wouldn't succeed. It was not easy. And I was like, okay, I cannot do that. I have to think about something else, another option. So I decided that I wanted to be a doctor, and that I wanted to be a pediatrician. Sorry. And Miriam, she knew that, and she looked at me and she was, you cannot be a doctor. You have to be a singer with that voice. What? And I was like, well, you may be right. And I went home, and I thought about all of that. And some time later, she asked me if I wanted to be a teacher at her school. And I was like, not really a teacher. And she said, yes, you may not know how to teach, but you can sing. And you can teach the students how to sing and how to improve their English through that. So you can teach pronunciation and you can teach many things with songs. And that's what people, yes, that's what people need. And I was like, okay, that it sounds fun. And I wanted to learn. I wanted to do something different. And I started learning with her. Mm-hmm. I went there and it was amazing. And then the pandemic came, the quarantine came, and we were still giving classes, but online. And well, I started having more classes during quarantine. And with those classes, we were going through a lot at the time. So my dad, he was unemployed for like about a year, almost 2 years. And we were like, okay, we cannot stay here in São Paulo. That's where we live. Wow. We cannot stay here anymore. We have to go back to our hometown. That it's in the south of Brazil. And that's where my grandparents are. And we were like, okay, we don't want to live like we've been here for too long. It's our home. And we were really like, we cannot do this anymore. And I started having more classes. And I told them, I told my mom and my dad, I said, guys, I think that I have enough money to pay the bills. So we did the calculation, everything. So I'm paying for everything now. So we're here in São Paulo. Wow. So I'm paying for rent, gas, water, everything. So with well, I'm doing that by teaching. So I'm doing that by teaching people how to sing and by teaching people how to speak English and improve their pronunciation. And oh, it's great. And I can do that now. I can help my parents, and I could even buy a new computer for myself. I had to use this old computer that my mom had, and the computer was dying, poor computer. And I saved the money, and I was like, okay, I think I can buy a new computer for myself. And I got to buy it, and it was really, really cool to have that experience and to learn so much with Miriam. And it really changed my life. Like,
she's been really, really happy. Our lives in our meetings. She makes us happy.
That is so incredible. I love that.
What is incredible is it's interesting. Only now I have realized that, you know, when I was 21, I was going to 2 colleges, one in the afternoon to study languages, and in the evening I went to business. And in the morning I was teaching. I was teaching for Berlitz. And that was a hobby, you know, because I did here in Brazil, we don't have in the States. I know that you are 16, you start working, but here you're supposed to graduate and then you work. It's a little bit different. But since I had been an exchange student, I wanted to be independent. I didn't want to rely on my father's money. He was still paying for my college. That was the last semester. For both, and then he passed away. So the first thing that came to my mind, I thought, you know, it's going to take such a long time, you know, for my family to get, you know, together, and so we can see what is the money left. The teaching is no longer a hobby. And I've just realized that you were 21, and then you went through all teaching. Teaching, you know, has been supporting her family now, but the way she teaches is different. So it's something more spiritual than anything else, but the result is fantastic. So we were, Sasa, the same age, and we were doing the same thing. Yeah, isn't that interesting? I've realized that.
Well, that's like a beautiful soul contract where you're giving back, and you showed up in each other's lives in perfect timing. That's so beautiful.
Yes, for sure.
I love that. I love that for both of you. And that goes to show that sometimes, I mean, that was such a difficult situation when you were so young, Miriam, to be strong enough to have to tell your mom, and losing a baby also, and your dad, and your sister all at once is so much. And I know people listening in, maybe you've lost someone this year, a loved one, and friends that didn't have that experience weren't able maybe to connect as much or empathize because they couldn't even imagine or fathom so much happening to a young person all at once. And yet you're proof of what's possible and the other side of getting through a tough spot and moving on with your life, and then being able to help so many other people through your programs and teachings. And
even the healing process, giving back.
Yes, and then
growing and giving back.
Exactly.
That's the way to go.
And look, Charles is 21 and she's supporting her family, not with doing something else, but sharing her talents. So I think the key is when you're listening and you're doing the meditations and going in and guided, you're being the beautiful essence and truth of who you are. And that's the message and the mode of giving back to this world that you have. So your voice, your song is your tool. And each of us has our own individual talents to share with the world. And when we do that, it's not about ego. It's not about competition. It's like we're home. It's like we're just home. And it's all love and connection. And I think that's the difference. And it's a beautiful place to be.
It is. And Sasa, maybe you could sing that song, There's a Place.
Oh, yeah. I love this song. All right. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. In this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you find there's no need to cry. In this place, you feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make it a little space. Make a better place. Heal the world. Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me.
Beautiful. So, from the heart, this is what we have to remember. There is only one thing that can heal the world, that can heal ourselves now. It's love. Find that love within you. Hug yourself. Kiss yourself. Be good to yourself. Forgive yourself. Be compassionate with yourself.
Beautiful.
It's a healing process. And have that unconditional acceptance. Don't try to resist. Flow with love. And be responsible for that joy that you can create in your life. You create joy. You create love. You're capable of doing it. And be defenseless. Don't resist. Be flexible. Don't dwell on the past. Stop with the melodrama. Don't make your life a melodrama. I truly believe that this pandemic is going to be very mild compared to the depression syndrome. And depression is obsession, the self-obsession, the obsessive self-centered thinking. So please make that shift now. Love yourself, be yourself, find yourself, get rid of the old so that the new can come. Trust me, it's going to be a much better life when you get rid of all those things that you don't need anymore. Material things and other things such as hurt and sadness and anxiety. There is no need for worry. When worry is a lie,
Yes.
40% of your worries are in the past, 40% in your future. And your worries is related about what people will think of you. And only 8% is the problem or the challenge that is there, by the way, for you to learn and grow. So why worry?
When we focus on nice things and beautiful things, when we focus on those things instead of the worry, we don't give power to the worry. That stuff outside of us, person, place, or thing, doesn't have control over how we choose to be in our state of being, how we choose to show up every day. And those things that we're worried about today, 5 years from now, we don't even think about them anymore because they always resolve.
Absolutely.
They always resolve. We are coming to the end of our interview time. So I would love for you to share how people can connect with you, maybe join your courses or learn more about what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an awesome experience to be able to share a little bit of what has happened in my life and bring us along with me. So thank you so much. Yes, you can contact me. You can go to my website, Miriam Magalhães, that's my name, .com. There, you go to courses online, and I have a master class for you, composed of 17 classes. We have one in Portuguese and one in English. And I share everything that I know there. So you can have that. And if you go to belimitless.com.br, you have access to 3 classes in English. And I also have an app. It's Miriam Magalhães. For Portuguese is BR, Brazil, and English it's ENG, Miriam Magalhães, ENG. And it's a free app. There are meditations. But you can always contact me. You can even send me an email, miriam@miriammagalhães.com. Right? What? And my Instagram, Miriam Magalhães, Master Coach. And what else? My Facebook, Miriam Magalhães, Master Coach. YouTube channel is the same thing. So I hope to hear from you guys. I'm here to serve you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on the show. All right. Namaste. We will be back after this message. Bye, everyone. So here it is, my latest book. I have to let you know something, just between you and me. This book is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. Again, this is the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest, and I'm giving you some homework. Grab a copy of my latest book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. That's right. If life has knocked you down, get ready to pick yourself back up and give your problems the boot. I look forward to hear about your read, and we'll see you next time. You may get a copy of Bootstraps and Bra Straps on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle, as well as at www.sheilamac.com. As always, I wish you life, love, laughter, and light.